Hello, Varas. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this live stream with Tino today at the English Experience. Tino is already here, so let me try and add him right away. Okay. I'm using my other cell phone. Experimenting with that. Hello, Kamran. Hello, myself, Polyglot Erika is also watching this. Hello, Tino.
Hello, Erika.
Nice.
How are you?
I'm doing great. What about you?
I'm fantastic, thank you.
Your voice is so beautiful. I was just listening to one of your videos now on your feed. It's really, yeah, you have a great voice. So, Tino, this is the first time we talk. I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself and the followers also. So, my name is Erika. My page here is Melhore Seu Inglês. It means improve your English. And I'm an English teacher. I've been teaching for a while now. I'm Brazilian. I live in Brazil. And I think it's about that. That's it. What about you, Tino? What can you tell us about yourself?
Okay, well, my page is the English Experience the English Experience, not my website. I'm confused things a bit. This is only my second live, so I'm a bit nervous, as
don't be.
The first one as well. So, I'm originally from Zimbabwe. Do you know anything about the country?
Not much, to be honest. I don't know much. I would like to know more. Maybe this is the opportunity. I'll have to learn more about Zimbabwe.
So I'm originally from Zimbabwe. I'll tell you a little bit about it a little bit later on. I'll give you a little bit of a timeline about my story. So I'm from Zimbabwe. But when I was 18, I moved to the United States. I went there for university. I ended up living and working in the United States for 9 years. After that, I moved to the UK and I lived in London for 8 years. After that, I ended up moving to Brazil and I've been in Brazil for 3 years. So I moved for a number of reasons. First, it was for school and education. After, it was for work opportunities. The second time, it was for work opportunities again. And finally, I'm here.
Okay, so you're in Brazil now, yeah?
Yes, I am. So I'm in Londrina, Paraná. Have you been to Paraná before?
I have never been to the south of Brazil, never, but I would love to. Yeah, I need to visit the south.
Yeah, I think many people don't realize how big a country Brazil is.
It's huge. Yeah. Oh, so Mike is asking you, have you tried coxinha yet?
Oh, yes, I have, and I love coxinha.
And your pronunciation is so good. Oh my God. This sound is not, I don't know if you have, what language do you speak in Zimbabwe? Or what languages? I don't know.
So, it's languages, but my first language is English. And that's one of the things a lot of people need to know about Zimbabwe. So Zimbabwe, the lingua franco is English. So the government doesn't recognize it as the official language. They put other languages on the official documents. That's more because of some political issues. But everyone speaks English. In school, you learn everything in English. All the government documents are in English. The majority of street signs are in English. Business is in English. Which is funny that it's then not recognized as the official language.
Yes, yes. And what about the other languages? Do you speak the other languages?
Yes. So politically, they say that there are 13 languages in the country.
13?
But in reality, the most of the languages are dialects. So I would really say there's about 2 other languages in the country. One language is called Shona, which is a language which I speak as well. And the other language is called Ndebele, which is spoken in the 2nd largest city in the country, but I don't speak this particular language.
Okay. The capital of Zimbabwe is?
Harare.
Harare, okay.
Yeah.
And how big is Harare compared to Londrina or to other cities you've been to?
Okay, so Zimbabwe overall is a relatively small country. So it's got a population of about 14 million people. Okay. It's not 100% accurate because the census hasn't been done in a while, but it's estimated to be in that region. Harare is estimated to have somewhere between 1 and 2 million people.
Okay. And what about teaching? Yeah. So now, you're a teacher, right? So, and by the way, so before I forget, so everybody follow Tino. His page is here on Instagram, is The English Experience. But do you have a YouTube channel, a website, other social media ways to contact you?
I actually do have YouTube as well as a website. So my website is englishexperience.com.br. And my YouTube is the same as my Instagram channel, which is The English Experience.
Okay. I'm trying to read here. So people are asking you, Johnny Grohl is asking you, how long have you been here? So again, how long have you been here in Brazil? For people who missed your answer.
Yeah, I've been in Brazil just over 3 years. So I moved to Brazil in August of 2015.
Okay. And how do you like it? Do you think in some ways we have things in common with, you know, Zimbabwean culture? Is that the adjective? Zimbabwean?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Culture?
So actually I do. I always tell people that Brazil, in my opinion, has more things in common with Africa than it does with Europe or the United States. When it comes to culture, food, behavior, I think they're very similar to Zimbabwe.
Can you think of an example or a few examples of things that you noticed that are similar?
Yeah, I would say the general warmness of the people, it's definitely quite different from the way Europeans behave. The food, there are many examples of food. The biggest difference, I think, is that you tend to name all your meals. So if somebody asks me, for example, oh, have you had feijoada before? Have you had moqueca or things like this? I might say no because I don't recognize the names, but once the food is in front of me or I try it, I'm like, okay, I've had this before. We have a very similar dish.
Okay. Yeah, so we have all these names, but the dishes are kind of similar, right? Just a few ingredients that are different maybe, but basically it's the same.
Exactly.
Right? The same.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So back to teaching, because I started to ask you and then I interrupted myself. So tell us a little bit about that. Do you teach at schools or online? Do you use Skype or how do you work?
So I do a little bit of everything. At the moment, I teach mostly private. I used to teach at a number of different schools. Now I've limited it and cut it down to just one school, which is a local high school called Maxi in Londrina.
Okay.
I
And
teach
by the
at
way,
high school and I teach privately.
okay. I am very sorry because my thoughts, they go everywhere, and I'm always changing the subject, the topic. I'm sorry for that, but I'm afraid of forgetting things. I want to congratulate you on the birth of your baby. Right?
Thank you very much.
Which, is it a he or a she?
So I have a brand new baby boy. Not so brand new. My baby boy was born almost a month ago. It was a month on Sunday.
Yeah, exactly. So it's the first birthday, a month, right? The first month. And can we call him a newborn? I think until the 3rd month, he will be a newborn, right?
Yes, he's still a newborn. Nice. Actually, I have many messages in my DMs asking me where I've been because I kind of disappeared for a while. I've posted a few videos in between, but it's videos that I did a little while ago. So I've been at home with my wife and my baby, and it's been difficult to find time to do anything else. But I'll be
I can imagine.
More active on Instagram and YouTube in the near future.
For sure. So John is asking, how long have you been a teacher? For a very long time, right?
This is a difficult question to answer because teaching in an official capacity, I've been doing this for almost 3 years. However, before that, I was working in the corporate world and I was mostly a trainer. So it's not really the same as teaching, but there are a lot of parallels between the two things. So you teach in both, but one was mainly training adults to use particular types of software, and now it's teaching students.
I didn't hear how long you've been a teacher because of the connection.
So almost 3 years.
Almost 3 years, okay. Yes. John is saying been teaching for 1 years? What does that mean, Johnny? What number is that? 4 years, maybe? Okay, very nice. What about, I always ask this to people, how do you feel about using technology? Like Instagram, you have a YouTube channel, even a website. I don't know if it's a blog or a site, but to be 31 years, John, you've been a teacher for 31, it's very long. So how do you feel using technology to, to be able to teach something here, and also the contact we have with people?
I love it. I'm an avid supporter of technology, and I absolutely love it. It helps me expand my reach to people who I might otherwise not ever reach without it. So I do love technology.
Yeah. As a teacher, as a learner, do you like to take courses, to use it, to learn stuff too?
Oh yeah, I think actually that I've used it a lot more to take courses than to actually teach courses. So I'm constantly on the internet, not surfing like most people in general, but I love taking different types of courses. I'm a little bit of what people might call a jack of all trades. I'm just always fascinated in learning new things.
It's fantastic, yes. And just before we start playing the game, I don't know, we talked a little bit about this game, phrasal verbs, the phrasal verb game. I don't know if you've seen any of the lives, because in the past few lives, I've been doing this with teachers, mostly teachers. But before we start that, I think we could talk a little bit about, I don't know, tips for learners, right? Things that can help them learn. Even though sometimes we repeat ourselves a lot, it's always good to go over certain ideas, certain suggestions, certain tips. And of course, there might be new people here too, beginners, people who have just started following English teachers here on Instagram, have just started learning English, right? Indeed. And these people might not understand us, by the way, if they have just started learning English. But anyway, so what tips do you like to give your students to help them get the most out of the internet, for example, to learn, or any other resource, any other material?
Yeah, so my number one tip is very, very cliche. It's practice, practice, practice.
And I'm going...
Yeah.
I agree with you. It's my number one tip and rule and everything too for myself, and I tell this to students. I want to ask you this. How do your students react when you tell them they should practice a lot? And I believe that means repeating a lot certain things, because at least for me, I learn by repeating.
Yeah.
In different ways, right? So, because sometimes I feel, I don't know if this is cultural, but I teach mostly Brazilian students. Yeah. And they don't react so well when they hear this, that they need to repeat, they need to practice, you know, they need to review, go over stuff to learn. How do you see that?
Yeah, it is difficult for Brazilians because now, especially because I am teaching a lot of Brazilians as well. I think Brazilians are very intelligent. They are perfectionists, so which kind of works against them sometimes. And I also think it's the education system, because of this vestibular that you do. You are used to kind of memorizing a lot of information in a short period of time and expecting to use that information when you want and when you need it. But learning a language does not work the same way as learning about biology, physics, mathematics, or some other thing. So because learning a language is a journey, and repetition is part of that journey. It's something that you're going to have to do over and over. A lot of them react in a weird way, because people want something they can do very quickly. Say, okay, if I take 10 lessons and I take them twice a week for 5 weeks, what will my level be at the end of these 10 lessons? Well, depends how much you practice. You might not change levels. You might, it just depends on how much effort you're putting into it. Yeah,
I agree with you. So you got to practice as much as you can. Yes, immersion. I always tell people about the way I study. There is something I'm doing now that's different from before. Last year, I started learning Polish. I like to say I started. I don't like to say I learned, because it's impossible, right? To say, oh, I'm done with this language. I learned everything I need to learn. This will never happen. So I started learning Polish last year, and this year it's German. Actually, I studied a year of German 5 years ago, but I repeated a lot. During 1 year, I did a very intense self-study of German. And now, 5 years later, I realized how good it was, because I thought I had forgotten everything, that I didn't know German anymore after 5 years. It was like a blank. My brain was empty because I didn't use German at all during this time. And now I intend to study until the end of the year, December. So now in April, I started on April 1st, and it's been 3 weeks. I've been reviewing very, very intensely what I studied in that year. And I'm so happy that things, you know, I can remember so much and so much more than I expected. And I'm learning more. So there are things that I didn't know so well. Now I know better. And I'm learning new things in only 3 weeks. This is fantastic how our brain works. And one of the things I'm doing now, it can sound a little weird too. Some people say it's not healthy, but during my meals, I'm watching videos on YouTube. And the videos I'm watching are grammar videos. Vocabulary too, but mostly grammar.
Yeah.
And so during breakfast, lunch, and dinner, that's what I do. These meals last around 20 minutes, and the videos have 10 minutes. I watch around 6 videos per day, every day. And then these days I was thinking, oh my God, German looks so easy now. And I was thinking, I was telling one of the students, my God, it seems so easy now. And then I realized why. I told my husband, he said, but you're studying German, you're breathing German 24 hours a day, right? When I'm not watching these videos, I'm using Duolingo to review. I'm reading, today I was reading a German newspaper online, things like that. So immersion helps a lot, right? And
indeed,
right, teachers are, I don't know, Johnny, I don't think we are special, like polyglots or teachers are special. I think the difference is practice, is what Tino just said here. That this is the difference, actually. Anyone, what do you think about that, Tino? Do you think there is people are different? Some people can learn, other people cannot learn?
So to discount the difference of people would be a mistake. Yes, indeed, people are different. They have different capacities and abilities. But that being said, everybody can learn. So the way people learn can be different, because not everyone who studies physics is going to end up being Einstein, but everybody can learn about physics. So it's the same with languages. Everybody can learn. So it's just about how much effort you put into it.
Besides practice, because you speak English, you speak Portuguese. I thought you were Brazilian because the text on your Instagram page is in Portuguese, in perfect Portuguese.
Oh, so, thank you. Perfect. I wouldn't quite say, but thank you.
So it's Portuguese, English, and tell me again the Zimbabwean language you speak?
Shona.
Shona. Do you speak other languages? These 3 languages.
I don't like to say that I speak them, but I speak a little bit of French and a little bit of Spanish.
Cool.
I studied French for 2 years in high school. And then for Spanish, while I was living in Texas, I was studying some Spanish as well.
Oh, very nice. So besides practice, people don't forget that, please. What other tip could you give the students?
Do something that you really enjoy, something you already do with your natural language every single day, but do that in English. So if you watch a lot of Netflix, look for a show and watch it in English. If you like reading blogs online, look for one in English to read. If you really want to focus on improving your English as soon as possible, turn your technology into English. The settings on your phone, your laptop, switch them to English. And just try to have contact with the language every single day, whether it's on Instagram, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on your laptop, whether it's just you trying to practice what you already know in English. If you're walking down the street, the things that you see, try to see if you can name them in English. Just do simple things like that on a daily basis.
Yes. And technology is also, it allows us to connect with people more, right? It's easier to connect with people. I'm saying this because that's what I'm doing now with German. In my first year of German and of Polish, I could not do that. I could not exchange messages with people online because it was too much. It was overwhelming, too much information and too much knowledge. And I needed time to process everything. Now I feel more comfortable. So I use WhatsApp. Sometimes I take part in WhatsApp groups to connect with people. This is something people can do. And also now I've been using Tandem, which is, I don't know if Mike is still here, but he used it a lot to learn Portuguese. He mentions it every time he talks about how he learned Portuguese. So I decided to give it a try again, because I tried in the past, it didn't work because I was a beginner. So Tandem is an app that can help you find partners and practice the language, right? This is very important too, because it gives meaning to what you're doing, to what you're learning, you're putting into practice, right? What you're learning.
Yes.
Very nice.
Interesting.
Tino, okay.
Heard of this app?
Yeah, I'm gonna write here the name of I don't know if there are other apps, but this one is kind of Tandem, kind of famous, and it's really great. Okay, so I like this game. I've been playing this game a lot. It's very simple. Why do I like this game? Because first of all, because I want to learn phrasal verbs and I want to be able to use them more. It's very hard. I don't know if you noticed this, Tino, but here in Brazil, we have a hard time using phrasal verbs.
Oh, yeah.
Right? We tend to use the word that is more formal. Like, I don't know, like procure, to encounter, right? Words like that.
Oh, yeah.
We have this tendency because phrasal verbs are a bizarre concept for us. But what I tell people is you need to practice and you need to use what you learn to remember. Because the situation, the context in which you're using that piece of information will probably stay with you, stick with you in your memory, especially if you have some kind of emotional involvement with that, right? So you will remember more when you use it, let's say in real life with someone, than just by yourself. So I think it's a good way to do that. But it's, of course, good for everyone. So it's a game where everyone wins, points for everybody, points galore. And that's it. And so what is a phrasal verb? In very simple terms, it's a verb whose meaning slightly change, or sometimes it changes a lot when you add a particle that I will call a preposition or an adverb. It doesn't matter now. But the important thing is we need two words. One is a verb, and the other is something that looks like a preposition. I'll call it preposition. Okay, it could be a preposition, but it doesn't matter now. Two words, at least two words. Some phrasal verbs have two. I have three, right? A verb and two particles. And what I do is I pay attention when I'm listening to podcasts, reading something online. I pay attention to how natives use these phrasal verbs, and I write them down. I take a look at the dictionary, see how they are used. Sometimes they're used in many different ways. So here I'm going to use only one meaning, but it doesn't really matter. And we're going to explain how, the phrasal verb without saying what the phrasal verb is. And the other person will try to guess, and the followers, please help us try to guess too, because this will be more fun if you guys participate. But there is a question here. A question, I don't know who is asking that question. Is it you, Varas? Yeah. A question, what is the difference between idioms and phrasal verbs? Would you like to answer that?
Sure. Okay. So idioms, or idiomatic expressions, are set phrases which can have a literal or non-literal meaning depending on what it is that you're talking about. So, for example, if you say something like, that's another nail in the coffin, this would be an idiom or an idiomatic expression. Whereas if you say something like, let me look up what that expression means, look up would be a phrasal verb. I don't know if it helps or
Yeah, let's see, people. So let us know if you understand the difference between an idiom or idiomatic expression and phrasal verbs. Like Tino said, the idiom can be a group of words that together have a meaning. Sometimes the meaning is literal, sometimes it's not. And they give color to the language, right? Indeed. It makes the communication a lot more fun. And yeah, it's cool. I myself don't use idioms a lot. I like them. We teach them here. It's another thing. Maybe we'll play a game with idioms in the future. I think this is a good idea.
It can be fun.
Yeah. All right. So, Tino, would you like to start? What would you prefer to do now?
I would say if you would start.
All right. I will, so choose my phrasal verb here. I already know what it is.
Uh-huh.
So it's actually simple, this one, because I usually choose very hard ones. This one, I think it's easy. It means to become something, to transform into something. Like a caterpillar can transform into a butterfly, right? But transform into is not a phrasal verb. This is a good question, actually, right? It's not a phrasal verb. But if you substitute transform with another verb, it becomes a phrasal verb. So do you guys know, Tino, Varaz, Rosani, Johnny, do you have any idea what phrasal verb I'm talking about? So it means, do you have any idea, Tino?
Would it be turn into?
There you go. I said it would be this one, turn into. I like to ask people, especially evolve into. So yeah, because I gave the example of the caterpillar and the butterfly. Yeah. Do you think there is a similarity? Is evolve into a phrasal verb? I don't think it is.
No. Evolve to wouldn't be a phrasal verb, because the word evolve itself would be a verb, which is telling you what is happening.
Something is evolving, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So I like to ask people, how often do you see that phrasal verb, turn into? Do you think it is a common phrasal verb, or it's a rare one, you never see it? How often do you use it? Do you have any idea?
I think I use more turn in as opposed to turn into.
Ah, okay. But turn in means something different, or is it the same?
It means something different.
Yeah, so
it would be like, for example, I tell my students that, okay, do your exercises now and turn in your exercises at the end of class. Or cool. You could say something like, the other half, tell my wife that I'm feeling quite tired, so I think I'm going to turn in. Or turn
nice.
in.
Or
turn in early.
Turn in early. Ah, okay. Yeah. See, this is an example of a phrasal verb that would be very often used, right? In this way. And I never seem to remember this one, to turn in early. So in the case of Varaz is saying, if I keep studying English, I can turn into an English speaker. Is this sentence okay? What do you think? I would say I can become.
Yeah.
Turning to.
But,
what do you say? What do you think about turning to here?
So in this situation, I wouldn't really use it, because technically he is an English speaker already. From the moment he said his first few words in English.
Yes.
Not an English teacher, an English speaker.
Speaker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. So I would use become here. it's interesting, right? How to distinguish the situations. When do I use turning to? But and the other thing, I wanted to ask you something. A good one, a good English speaker. You already are, Varaz. You need to keep practicing, like Tino says, because it never ends. It never ends. When you're saying good, what do you mean by good? You know, what do you have in mind? What person do you have in mind? I don't know. You know, do you mean like never forgetting words, never making mistakes, things like that? Native speakers make mistakes. I make a lot of mistakes in Portuguese.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. You make mistakes all the time. In fact, I think native speakers probably make a lot more mistakes without even realizing their mistakes as compared to non-native speakers. A lot of non-native speakers tend to recognize their mistakes and limitations. But they don't.
That is interesting. That's a very interesting observation. So Sartaya is saying ice turns into water when it's heated up. And heat up, I think it's a phrasal verb too, right?
Yes.
Heat up. 2 phrasal verbs in one sentence, Sartaya. Good job. Yeah, so I think we would use turning to here like to show different states. And I don't think turning to a better speaker would be a different state. This is a very good question, Varaz. We need to take a look at that. Okay, but anyway, to become a better speaker, practice, practice, practice. You already know what to do. Okay, so let me see another one here. Okay, this is also an easy one, I think. And it means to choose. To choose. When you choose one thing from a group, you know, there is a group. When you're going shopping, for grocery shopping or something, or in any other situation, you're choosing one thing. So let's see what the followers say. First, let's give them some time. Sartaya, Varaz, John. Any guesses? So it means to choose. So you can, of course, use choose, right? It's okay, it's fine. But this phrasal verb is cool. You could try to use it too, instead of choose. For example, if you're choosing dresses, you're going to a party, you're going to choose one. What phrasal verb can you use in this situation? Do you have any idea, Tino, what I'm talking about?
Potentially. Does it start with a P?
Yes, it does. You're good with phrasal verbs, with your phrasal verbs, Tino. Yes, Sartaya, got it. Pick up, Johnny too. Pick, actually, it's not really pick up. Actually, it's not pick up. It's pick, but it's another particle. Because this is the movement. The movement is kind of like that. No, there is a group and you pick one. Yeah. Not really up, but you said it before. Did I say it before? Out. There you go. Yeah. There you go, Tino. 1,000,000 points for you. There you go. Pick out. Is there? Well, of course there is a difference between pick out, pick something out, and pick up.
Yes.
Right? When
like,
can you give us a
list? So pick out is usually used to choose something within a group of other things, whereas pick up is used to substitute an action of either lifting something, or it can be like pick up someone, where it's not physical, but it's somewhat semi-physical, semi-metaphorical. So,
really, pick up can be metaphorical. Yeah?
In a way, because like if you go to a bar and you pick up someone, you're not physically
yeah. Okay, I see. Yes, definitely. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I never made that connection in my mind before, Tino.
Yeah.
I just learned that pick up means to kind of retrieve someone, like to get someone from a place. It could mean that. But I never. And actually, we were doing this live stream with another teacher the other day, and oh my God, I forgot the name of the teacher, but he gave the example of pickup, and there are so many meanings for a pickup. And one meaning, who is it, that he mentioned is when we pick up our room or pick up the kitchen. It's possible to use pickup in this way, right?
Yes. So the thing with the phrasal verbs is phrasal verbs have common meanings, but they don't have defined meanings. So, which means that if you and I create a phrasal verb amongst ourselves and we give that phrasal verb a meaning, then people outside of our group, if they start using that phrasal verb with that particular meaning, it will develop a meaning amongst us. And the more popular it becomes, it either becomes acceptable as a phrasal verb or not. So if somebody from outside the group doesn't recognize it, it doesn't mean it's not a phrasal verb or it's not the correct meaning. It just means it's unfamiliar jargon to those particular people. So that's the thing about phrasal verbs, and that's why they can have so many different meanings as well.
Yeah. And by the way, just a parenthesis here, you mentioned the word familiarity a few times today, and I had this insight. And I'm trying to avoid using the word difficult, saying, especially related to language, saying that something is difficult, like phrasal verbs are difficult. Because it's not, when you say something is difficult, it's like it's difficult and period. That's it. There is nothing you can do about it. But, of course, there is something you can do about it. We mentioned this quite a few times today, practice. Practice, practice, practice. Practice makes that thing that you might think it's difficult more familiar to you. So I would say that something that is difficult is not really difficult. There is lack of familiarity with that thing. Like you just said now, when you don't know what a phrasal verb means, right? So it's just a lack of familiarity. How do you fix that? You become more familiarized with that. And then it becomes easy. Normal, right? This is something you should try to think. This is a tip, because I'm doing that with German. You know, I thought German is a very difficult language. That's what I thought in the beginning. And because of that, I studied for 1 year in a very intensive way. I became more familiarized with it. I'm not afraid of it anymore. Not afraid of German anymore. So this could be a good tip to become familiarized. Go towards something that is difficult, and it will become easy, right? Tino, another phrasal verb? I think it's your turn now.
Oh, yeah? Okay, let's see. I've got one here, and we can use this one to mean support.
Support.
When a friend of yours maybe does something and their family or their friends maybe decide not to support them or abandon them, but you stay with the friend and offer them support.
Because I have no idea what this is.
There's a popular song that uses this phrasal verb.
Okay. So I think now I'm starting to think of something here. Do you guys have any ideas, any suggestions for this phrasal verb? So it means to support something or someone. Can it be something?
Yeah, it can.
It can. Does it start with S?
It does.
Okay. All right. So I don't know if I should wait more. Because yeah, I think I do. I think I do know. Is it stand up? Is it stand up?
Almost. Not up, but...
Oh, it's stick for. John is saying stick for. Stick for someone. Is it the one?
Not quite. Actually, stick up can have a similar meaning to this particular phrasal verb, but it's not stick up or stick for. And it's not stand, but
not stand up
is the first word.
Is it stand for? That's what Kian is saying here.
No.
It's not? Oh, so it's stand. The verb is stand? Okay, so stand up for something. It's a stand by.
Yes, stand by.
Yeah, because we were going to
stand by me.
Stand by me, of course. Of course. Yeah. Stand by me. Yeah, great song. Yeah. So, guys, everyone here, stand by. I'm gonna write here. This is a good one. Stand by. Stand by. So it means that nobody else is like helping. Nobody else is just when, you know, there isn't, you know, how do I say that? Support, 100% of support, right? It's just, it means that some people have given up.
Yes.
Yeah?
People have either given up on you or on someone.
Okay, so it's just
to stand by that person, to offer them support, help, encouragement, and so forth.
Oh, that's so cool. So that's the person who is left, right? The person who is left from the group, it's the person who is stuck there with you. Stand by. Stand by has many other different meanings too, I think, right? But
yes.
This one is very, very interesting. Very good. Stand by. Okay, very good. Okay, my next phrasal verb, I don't think it's super common, but if you participate in meetings, if you take part in meetings, you know, we usually say this at the end of an event where people are talking. Usually, I don't know if I can think of other examples. So it means to finish something. You finish something. And yeah, it can be an event, it can be a class. You can say that at the end of the class.
I think I use this one a lot.
Oh yeah? Oh, let's see. Yeah. So we can do that with meetings, with classes. I don't know if we can do that with other work. Can do that with work. Yeah. Yes.
Work.
Yeah. Good job.
Yeah.
Wrap up. Wrap up. Let's wrap it up. Right? Do you use it a lot?
And that's a good one as well, Satan.
How do I never say how to pronounce this word. Is it wind or wind? Is it wind up or wind up? I never know.
Wind up.
Wind up.
Depending on the context, wind up can either mean to start wrapping up, or it can mean to agitate someone. So depending on the context.
Two opposite meanings, right? Wind up. So it can mean starting the end of a process.
Yeah. So maybe you're going to finish up your class and your students are still writing something, and you say, let's wind up. The bell will be ringing in about 5 minutes. So let's wind up. Or
prepare.
Or to agitate someone, you can say, he's such a wind-up, or he winds me up. Everything he does just causes me to become tense and agitated. Like, you know, the toy you used to wind until the spring becomes tense, and then when you let go, the little toy starts moving or doing something.
So cool. Wind up. Thank you, Sartaya, for that one. Wind up, yes, and wrap up. Let's see if there is. Don't wrap this live up. We will need to do that at a certain point. We have 10 minutes to go. That's a wrap. Yes, so there are some phrases in which we use the word wrap, right? That's a wrap. Do you use it in different ways or always let's wrap it up?
I think it can be just to cover something.
No, I mean, if you use, you know, it means the same thing to end something, in the sense of ending something, finishing something. The exact phrase, because I think there are some variations. Because I'm always saying, let's wrap it up. Can you say the same thing using, you know, different words? Or that's about it?
Okay.
If you're thinking too much, it's because you...
Yeah, you can say something
yeah,
like,
let's
finish up.
Okay. All right. Okay. We have time for more. One more, maybe a few more. Let's see.
Yeah. So, let's see. So, I think this one would be pretty easy. It's normally used for people who are in some sort of relationship, and that relationship comes to an end. So,
okay. I think I know, and I think people here know. So, yeah. Everybody, what phrasal verb is that?
Very common.
It's very common. I think you can, this phrasal verb can mean other things. Oh, it's, hello, Ferrari, you're here. Good to see you. Break up, break up, break up. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, very good job. Yes. Why? Probably because of repetition. I would blame this on repetition, right? So it works. It works. Keep practicing, repeating, 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 pay attention. Something that I was going to say, it's very common. You see that a lot. You see it repeatedly, right? So keep doing that. So Tino, you mentioned Netflix, and I just recently found out an extension for Chrome, which is called Language Learning with Netflix.
Oh, really? Cool.
And yeah, I would like to recommend that to you, to everyone here, to try it out, to tell me later what you think of it. I started using it with a German movie. What it does is it pauses at the end of every line. It pauses automatically, so you have time to repeat, to examine the words. Of course, I would do that with something that I have already watched.
Yeah.
But what I started doing is I started copying all the sentences on my notebook, because it's a movie, people are talking in a very normal way, you know, everyday kind of things. So I thought, oh, this is interesting. And I wrote it down. I was writing it down. And then, oh, this is interesting too. And then I wrote a lot on my notebook. So it can be a good thing to do, because it's a movie, people are, you know, it's like Friends. People love Friends. It's the sentences, the phrases they use, the way they speak. It's the way people speak in real life. So this could work. So language learning with Netflix, an extension for Chrome.
Check it out.
Yeah, all right. This is so long. It will take me time to write everything. Tino, is it me or you? Is it my turn? No, I'll write it later here. So it's me now, right?
Yeah.
Yes, because the one before was breakup. Yeah, this one is, I wanted to tell me what you think about it, because it's not easy. Someone mentioned it in a podcast that I heard, and the meaning is to explode. But when I was searching that, looking it up in a dictionary, it was not many dictionaries showed this meaning, to explode.
Yeah.
They showed another meaning, And the meaning is to ignore something, to, I don't know if I remember the meaning, but to not give importance to something, like not to, how can I say this? Not to care much about something. To, I don't know the words. I know it's blow, Johnny, because of the explosion, right? It's blow. But the particle is not up. It's another particle.
Yeah.
And
blow off.
Blow off. It's blow off. So, do you agree that blow off, meaning explode, is rarely used, but it's used, you know, mostly with this other sense? And do you understand what this other sense is?
Yes, actually, I think I only know the other sense. I hadn't heard it used in the meaning of explode, but I can see how it can be. But yeah, to blow off someone.
So can you tell us about this other meaning of blow off? Because I would like to understand this phrasal verb a bit more, like some examples and...
Yeah, so it's for things which are light and unimportant. So you can use it as in, for example, if you are wearing your clothes, you're getting dressed in the morning, and some little particles fall onto your shoulder, and they're unimportant things, so you blow it off. So
you literally blow it off?
Yeah.
But you can do that metaphorically too.
Exactly. So you can blow off people. So it's like, oh, somebody sees you at the airport. Oh, I think that's Erika Inglés. Hey, Erika. Hey, Erika. Can we take a picture? Can we talk? And maybe your headphones on, you hear them, but you just and you continue walking. I know you wouldn't do that. You're so nice.
Okay. that's I can see that. Like like you're not paying attention at something. But it's negative, right? Because it's like you don't consider that thing important enough, right?
Exactly.
To pay attention to. It could be a person or it could be a thing. To blow it off. Yeah. I'll try to pay more attention to this one because this is totally new for me. All right, Tino. Go ahead.
But there's also an idiom tied to it, which is blow off steam.
Blow off steam.
And that is an idiom. Yeah.
Blow off steam.
Off steam because actually means to relax.
To relax. Yeah. Blow off steam. Yeah, no, this one, yes, I'm familiarized with this idiom. Blow off steam. Really, really great. Okay, do you have another one? We have time for more.
Yeah, well, this one could be used to wrap up in a way, or in a way to say goodbye. You say, oh, or to end. Say, in a bit, we are going to need to blah, blah, blah.
So it means to say goodbye? That's what it means?
Actually, it means more to end, or to finish, or to leave maybe a technology platform.
Okay. We don't have much time. We have 30 seconds. Only 30 seconds left. What is it, Tino?
Sign off.
Sorry?
Sign off.
Sign off, yes. And I'm sorry. we're going to use this phrasal verb right now. So we are signing off. Thank you, Tino, so much for accepting my invitation. I hope we can do this more often in the future. Thank you, followers.
Thank you, Erika. I really enjoyed it.